1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Yep.
Speak loud.
Okay. Okay. Bună dimineața. Tibini ativeni. I'm sorry I have been requested to speak in English, so I will do that, which is good because I've just used up my Romanian. By the way, the organizers of the conference have very kindly corrected the grammar mistake in my title. I have put it back on the slides. 7 years that IT Camp has been running. This is the 6th time that I am here. I don't know why they didn't invite me the first year. I like being here. I like being here. I like the people that I meet here. I like the people of Cluj. I like the people of Transylvania. And I always find this is an extremely well-organized conference. And apart from the sponsors, I would like to specifically thank Tudi and Mihai for the hard work they put into making this successful every year. Apart from running an extremely successful company called Avelgo and creating great software and great services and training, they managed to get this conference running. And I just want to make it clear to everyone, in case you're wondering, Mihai and Tudi did not pay me more than 40,000 euros to say that, so all is well. Coming back, 6 years ago, I presented a talk called Intelligent Evolution about change management and quality improvement. It was largely focused on what I was then trying to sell, which was CMMI. I'm still marked as a CMMI person in the biographies. I don't really do that anymore, but that's okay. So I was trying to sell process improvement, quality management in a talk called Intelligent Evolution. In 2014, I gave a talk on managing fear. That was a keynote. The question was, how can I transform fear, anxiety, into a positive force so that it will help me create better quality in my work? I also gave a talk on, can process make you happy? This was the beginning of the end of my process improvement work, because the answer was no. I won't give you the details as to why, but the answer was no. 2015, following a bet with Noemi, I gave a talk called Organizational Sociology and the Anthropology of an Engineer. Most people had no idea what I was talking about. I didn't really know what I was talking about, but I had a lot of fun doing it. I also that year launched my book, Orchestrated Knowledge, of which I have a few copies here. Not many, but I have a few. Not selling books today. Last year, I gave a talk on suddenly reality. And suddenly reality, the subject was, why do your quality improvement activities fail? Why all these great theories on changing quality and changing process and so on, when you put them in reality, they never seem to work. And then I had a lot of fun giving a talk with no title, where I took the gamble on giving a talk on any subject I was given. We had 3 subjects, which were work-life balance, the future of IT in Transylvania, and I don't remember what the third one was. It was a lot of fun. So I've been talking about quality at IT Camp now for 6 years. And there's one question that remains unanswered, which I would like to cover today. The question that remains unanswered, as far as I'm concerned, and as far as someone asked me regularly last year, how do you measure quality? I was asked this question over and over again, mostly by the same person, who is in the room. Yes, he's over there. And I managed to avoid answering that question every time. But it made me think and thought there has to be a better answer to this. Can you measure quality? And how do you measure it? When I talk about measuring quality in most companies, I'm given the opposite answer. You're not measuring quality, you're measuring defects. You're measuring failures. You're measuring the number of support calls you're getting from unhappy clients. In other words, you're not measuring quality, you're measuring the absence of quality. Why would you do that? Now, I know mathematically 2 negatives make a positive, but is really the absence of defect the level of quality for which you want to be known? When we talk about improving quality, we put in place measurements. We take your normal development cycle, your process, your life cycle, whatever it is that you are using, and we start examining it and measuring it. We look at what you're doing. We do time controls, and we put in all kinds of timing systems to see how long it takes for you to do something. We examine the details of every step of every practice in order to measure what is being done and so on. And we are basically not measuring quality. We are measuring your process. We are measuring the theory behind your work practices. And this is one of the reasons why I don't do CMMI anymore, is because your processes, your life cycles, all these good things will not give you quality. If well used, and I have been in this business for IT business for over 40 years now, if well used, they can be useful tools. My experience is they are very rarely well used. So that's one problem. The second problem, which might be more shocking to all of you, is when I announced that quality is not part of your product. quality is not part of the service you deliver. You cannot produce a high-quality product or service without something else. So for many years, I've been trying to explain this using this formula. Very simple formula. Your quality is what you produce divided by what your clients expect. The higher the expectations of your clients, the lower the quality of your product, no matter how good it is. That's a challenge, because reasonably, you don't know what your clients expect. When I ask people to tell me about quality and what it is, it usually comes down to a few answers. Okay? We've satisfied the requirements. It's fit for purpose. We exceeded expectations. Most companies I go to cannot answer the bottom line on this pyramid. Surprising. Who are your clients? Who is your customer? Is it the person paying the bill? Is it the end user of the product? Is it your marketing or your maintenance team? Is it your management or your financial people? Who is your client? If you can't answer that question, you're stuffed. The idea of meeting customer requirements or exceeding expectations, I'm sorry, that is not quality. Meeting the requirements and even exceeding expectations, that's your contractual obligation. That is what you have promised to your clients. You don't have a choice on that. If you're not meeting the requirements, don't bother measuring quality, it's rubbish. If you're not exceeding expectations, you're not delivering quality. You want your client to come back always and say something. I asked for a new system to finish my accounting year. I found out that now, since we've installed your system, our monthly closing takes 2 minutes instead of 2 hours. Wow, I did not expect that. That's exceeding expectations, and that's your job. So what is quality? Quality is a relationship. Quality is a relationship between an individual and a product. Quality is how someone, your clients, your management, whoever, perceives the product you have built, perceives the service you have delivered. It's a perception. If I want to build a quality product, I have to identify what is the perception someone I don't know will have on a product that does not exist. And that's the starting point. What does this mean? That means that you have got a very different perception for different people. Let me give you 2 pictures of the same scenery. This is one picture. Okay? This is what you want to perceive. This is the good stuff. The same view from a different angle looks like this. That's very different. So you're designing, you're building your product, and you are thinking, this is what I am producing. I am producing a beautiful blue sky idea. I've got fluffy white clouds. Everything's wonderful. This is really a good product. And when you deploy it, because naturally we like to complain, we're always ready to complain, your clients see this. Very much like Cluj today. And this is a problem. And now your clients are complaining because you only met their expectations. You didn't blow them away. You didn't baffle them. And so you think, well, I know what I'm going to do. I am going to make it better. I'm going to fix it. I'm going to repair it. And I am going to slowly turn what they have into what I wanted them to have. And I am going to put a beautiful rainbow in my rainy sky. And what do your clients see? They see a dark, stormy sky with a few rays of sunshine coming through. It's better than before. It's still not the image you want to sell. So if we want to proceed, number one question, do you understand quality? Subject I'll come back to tomorrow. Number one rule, quality is made by people. It's not made by technology. It's not made by process. It's not made by theories. It's not because you're agile or waterfall that you're going to produce quality or not quality. It's the people. Tsar Peter the Great, who was not necessarily a very nice man, had this very simple statement. There's no secret. Find the best people and don't let them go. His way of holding back people is perhaps not a way I would recommend to most company managers today. But that's what you need to think about. The title of this talk, does anybody recognize the sentence I used as the title of this talk? Nobody. Nobody. It is a key sentence. It is a turning point in a great book, which is called Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance, which is a wonderful book about quality, written many years ago. What we call quality is an objectification of peace of mind. If you are producing quality, you require peace of mind in order to do it. If you are working in a noisy environment, an open space office, where you're continuously interrupted by phone calls and other people's conversations, you do not have the peace of mind necessary to produce quality. We have known since the 1980s that open plan offices cost between 25 and 30% of your productivity, but still management insists on doing it. It's all right in factories, it's not all right for people who need to think. If you are continuously being stressed, if you are continuously being pressured to do things without the resources you need to do them, you cannot have the peace of mind to do a quality job. And if you do not have that peace of mind, you are going to build your problems into the product on which you are working. The quality of your product is a perception. Did that just flicker off? Or is it just me? Okay. The quality of your product is the peace of mind it gives you as an engineer. When I started working in process improvement some 20 plus years ago, I said at the time, and I've repeated it many times, I'm doing it for social reasons, because I believe that even a software engineer should be allowed to go home at night satisfied of a good day's work, not worried about being called in the middle of the night because something failed, or having to work all weekend because we promised it on Monday and it's not ready. I believe that even a software engineer should be allowed a private life. I know that that's maybe not everyone's opinion, but if you produce quality, your product will give you the peace of mind you need. You should be pleased with it. If it disturbs you, it is wrong. Until either the machine, the product, the service, or your mindset is changed. It's not something which is easy to do. We are getting into an extremely complex situation today with the products we are building and the services we are delivering. We have moved beyond the complicated and into the complex. I very strongly recommend, if you don't know it, to look up Dave Snowden and the Cynefin project, who are redefining the way we understand the way things work, who are building the ideas of complexity into daily activities, because it is getting incredibly difficult. How can I have peace of mind when I am just a small component in this incredibly complicated system? How can I feel that I am producing quality if I don't have full control? So, measuring quality. Now that we've established that we don't know what it is, and we don't know how to control it, and we are responsible for it, how do we measure it? First reaction is, why bother? The idea of measuring it, because it's something we sell. If you do not have a numerical understanding of what you're trying to sell, you do not have the understanding you need to persuade people that it's correct. You need something that establishes these values. If you cannot express it in a numerical fashion, you haven't understood it. And so in the software world, we have looked at things that we can measure. And I've had a long argument a year ago with an extremely well-known consultant who was arguing to me that this is quality. Okay? All wonderful things. When he talks about quality, this is what he's talking about. These are quality factors, they are quality criteria, they are components, characteristics of your quality, but they are not quality. Another approach, and I've sold this one a number of times, is to measure the cost of quality. Okay, we've got conformance, appraisal, prevention, cost of internal failure, cost of external failure, all wonderful ideas. These are measurements of your work practices, of your effectiveness. They do not represent quality. They represent accounting rules. Might be very good because it helps you identify where you need to focus your attention and what you should be trying to improve on. But that's not good enough, because you need to understand what it is you're trying to achieve. Let me give you an illustration. I've got here 3 buildings, all from this area of the world. Which one of these is quality? They've got profound differences. We've got the first one has been designed by an architect. The second one has been designed by an engineer. The third one has been designed by a poet. Different starting points. Do they satisfy the need? Yes. The first one is designed for living, the second one is designed for working, and the third one is designed for dreaming. If you live in the second or third one, you will probably be incredibly annoyed at how badly designed and built it is. How is it possible that they build my home in the middle of town with enormous big windows everywhere and no curtains, and I have to walk naked with half the town seeing me? Okay? That's what happens if you live in something designed for working. If you're living in something, or if you're working in something which is designed for dreaming, you will complain. Because you've continuously got to go up and down stairs, go from small rooms to small rooms all over the place, and you can't actually get the working atmosphere you need. So if you want to understand quality, the first thing you need to do is understand, for whom are you designing it? What is the impression you want to give? What is your objective? And this is true of software, it's true of services, it's true of whatever you're doing. We need to try and quantify this so that we can explain it and persuade people in ways that are not negotiable. Okay? I'm not trying to sell you the numbers. I am trying to make sure you understand exactly what it is that I mean when I talk about the quality of my products and services. So the first thing you want to do is understand what is important. And the top one here, top-level critical objectives. When I talk about top-level critical objectives, most people are thinking key requirements. And I'm saying, no, it's not the key requirement. That's not the top level. The top level is understand your quality. And that's what I want to quantify. So, what are you quantifying? Notice I've used the word quantifying. Slight difference from measurement. Okay? Quantifying is speed, measurement is speedometer. Quantifying might mean you're driving way too fast, even though you're only doing 30 kilometers per hour, because it depends on other things. So if I want to quantify quality, the definition of quality, the one that I believe is the correct one, it is the value you are adding to your users, to your customers, to your clients. It's not how many defects there are. It is what is the value you are adding to them, to their life, to their work, to whatever it is that is important to them. We never think of value. We are very much focused, in this industry as in all others, in cost. Let me give you some questions about value. Do you know what are your company's values? Surprisingly, a lot of people don't. Do you know what is your product's value? Not its price, not its cost, its value. Do you know what your clients value? What is important to them? And finally, what are your values? Personally, can you align your company's values, your product's values, your client's values, and your own values? And if you can align them, and only then will I ask the last question, at what cost? Let me give you an illustration of this. Lotto ticket, lottery ticket, whatever you call them here. Most of us know what it costs, more or less. Some people know very well because they buy these things. Some people understand statistics a little bit and never buy the things. What is the value of a lottery ticket? The value of the lottery ticket is not the first prize. The value of the lottery ticket is the dream it gives you when you think, maybe next week I'm a millionaire. The lottery ticket is not about winning, it's about selling a dream to you. You're probably not going to win, accept the fact. So, what is the value you are adding to your clients? We got basically two types of values, and we focus too much on the wrong one. We have got the perceived value and we've got the realized value. The perceived value is easy. That's your requirements, it's your expectations. The realized value is your client satisfaction. The perceived value is when they say, I think that would be useful. The realized value is when they say, I didn't think that would be useful. But that is a lot better than I expected. So we're going to measure value versus cost. How do you estimate, plan, and measure cost? I'm assuming most of you will probably recognize this. It's an approach which is a lot used in the software world. It's as good as others. It's no better, no worse. It's an interesting way of working. The idea is that everybody estimates story points based on a Fibonacci sequence, which allows to understand what are the simple things and how they grow more and more complex. What is your value estimate? Well, here's a technique to estimating value. You might recognize it. Estimating value by applying the same kind of Fibonacci value points at different levels. I'm going to establish a hierarchy of values as to what I would like to achieve. What are my company values? What are the things I want to do? Why in 5, 10, 15 years will prospects come to you and not to your competitors? What is the thing that differentiates you? What is the thing that makes you better than the others? And we're going to start identifying this. I don't want to just satisfy my customers' requirements. I want to do something more. I want to provide additional value to their business. And so I'm going to start estimating different types of value I would like to see. Business value, what do I want to do? I want to increase sales. I want to have good customer experience. What should happen in order for that to happen? And I start building a hierarchy of values. I start building a hierarchy of values of what it is that I would like my client to take away. And I balance that with the type of client I'm talking to. Because a small startup business wants very different things from a multinational, and even more different things from a company which is already on the decline. I estimate the values that I want to provide. I monitor them. I manage my values by using different techniques, which are standard process improvement type of improvements, and I monitor the quality constraints, the costs that I am putting on something. Let me show you an example. This is what is known as the butterfly or the bow tie graphic, which is used in risk management and other things, and I'm going to use it here in value management. This is an actual graphic. I hope you can't read it because I haven't anonymized it or changed anything on it. The question that was asked, which was a value question, is how do I stop losing key team members? The question came up in a company that lost its DevOps team Nearly everyone in the team resigned or left in a little over 1 month. That kind of raised a small panic, and so it was put something in place. Staff motivation. When we started doing it, that was definitely the key point, the key quality we wanted to put on it. Notice I'm not using necessarily a software example. On the left side in blue, I have identified all the things that came up that are stopping staff motivation, that are reducing the motivation, that are encouraging people to leave or to be demotivated or to do a bad job, etc. Next to each one of those, there is a yellow bar. The yellow bar is a measurement or an action to put in place in order to reduce this effect. On the right side, I have got all the subsequent effects of having resolved the problem. How do I resolve this? What's going to happen once we have motivated staff? It's not just the negatives being changed into something that it's not going to happen. It's really what actually is going to happen otherwise. What's the long-term effect that will happen when we keep our best people motivated, wanting to stay here? One of the questions that came up while doing this was a very simple survey I did with a number of people, and I said, why would you want to work here in 5 years' time when you can earn more money somewhere else? Okay, so let's eliminate the finance bit. Why would you want to still be working here? What is the thing that would make you proud? And that helped to develop this graphic. What does it mean when your best people want to stay? Once you've done this, once you've started to understand what are the qualities you want, you have to measure. We're measuring activities because there is a cost. There's a cost to putting this in place, and we need to make sure that it is there. In conclusion, measuring quality is not difficult. Estimating quality is not difficult if you know what you're talking about. If you cannot define quality, if you cannot explain to me what you mean by quality, you'll never get there. And every company, it has to come from the top. What is it you want to change? Why do you want to be known in 5 years' time, in 10 years' time? Why do you want to stop people from going somewhere else? What is the characteristic that's going to differentiate you from everybody else? And trust me, it's not requirements. Respecting requirements. If we respected requirements, we would not have MP3 players, we would not have smartphones. Nobody ever asked for that. However, it happened, and suddenly people wanted more. Cost is typically measured in a bottom-up approach. I understand the cost of each activity. I understand the cost of each product I need to use. I understand the cost of each consumable. Quality has to be estimated and measured in a top-down approach. Many years ago, 3 years ago, not that many, 3 years ago, I tried at this conference to warn you about the risks of increasing the cost of your software development activities before you are recognized as a high-quality area. I tried at the time to launch the concept of a label of quality which was called Made in Cluj. Since then, as I understand it, you've continued crossing the road to earn more money across the street, and you are running the risk right now of pricing yourself out of the market. Germans, Dutch, English people come to you because you're cheap. I'm sorry, but that's the fact. If you keep on increasing salaries so that you cost the same thing as they do, we have got a very strong electorate in every country in Western Europe which hates you. Okay? Romanians are coming simultaneously to steal our jobs and to not do anything. I don't know how you do that, but maybe it says more about the way the English work if you can do nothing and steal their job. Okay? I would like it to start at that level, your definition of quality. Trickle down then into the companies, trickle down into the people. You need to demonstrate your quality in a quantified way to survive in this industry. Thank you. A final word on measurement. You're supposed to open your app now and put down 5 stars.
Thank you, Peter. We're going to move on with the next keynote speaker. Jason, if you can come in front. Thank you.